Hey trainers, welcome to Trainer Path TCG, the channel where I track my return to competitive Pokemon play. When I was a kid, I used to play over at Toys R Us events on every Saturday afternoon with a group of my friends. Now we've been harking about 20 years later. I'm going back into the game after collecting for a few months. We just went ahead and attended last weekend a Destined Rivals Pre-Release event where I was able to pick up a Build and Battle box and actually had Ethan's Typhlosion deck. But if we go back in time to when I used to play as a kid, I actually ended around Team Rocket's set. So we can go ahead and take a look at kind of what I learned to play on. So back as a kid at Toys R Us, this was the last set I really was collecting Gym Heroes. I ended kind of on Team Rocket and Gym Heroes as it was released then. This is the rulebook we kind of went through, and I was actually pretty surprised to see that not much has changed since then to now. I mean, we do have new cards, we have EX cards in there and a few other things, but for the most part, the general game mechanics are about the same. And when I was collecting big time, I had a lot of base set, and we kind of transitioned to some additional cards. On the Toys R Us events, we were able to collect gym badges. Kind of had these Gym Heroes and Team Rocket cards, Dark Rapidash, Dark Charizard, and all of those. So as I kind of been getting back into this, I kind of remembered back in those cards and kind of how much I enjoyed playing as a kid. That's why I went back in and tried to play again, see how it is. I've been playing a lot of Pokemon TCG Live to kind of get back into it. And once this event came up, I knew it was something I wanted to go ahead and try. So I signed up, went, played, and picked up that Build and Battle box. So let's talk about the deck that I got. When I went in and opened up this Build and Battle box here, I went ahead and pulled some cards. In the packs I was able to pick up this Pichu, which is a long card I added to the deck, but this is mostly a coughing and wheezing deck along with the Ethan's cards. The Ethan's cards, we kind of had a Cyndaquil, Lava, and Typhlosion setup. I added a couple more from the packs that I was able to open, and it proved to be fairly effective. When we look at this Typhlosion and Quilava, they go ahead and allow us to get a key card, Ethan's Adventure. That's a good card that kind of boosts my damage that I attack with. So here you can pause the screen if you want and take a look at some of these trainer cards that were included in it. But that Ethan's Adventure was a real star of this deck. I was very surprised at how powerful it got. One of the energies that was a new one here is this Team Rocket's energy, that for my wheezing Pokemon, one energy of this Team Rocket's energy was able to fill it up. So as I went in and played this game, we kind of had a 3-round tournament. In this 3-round tournament, I actually went 2-1. So let's talk about the different rounds and how they went. In that first round, it was me against another person. They were running a they had the Tyranitar deck. Then in their Tyranitar deck, I was actually able to set up a Typhlosion pretty quick. And while that Typhlosion was down, I then started to set up my weak coughings and wheezings in the background. I was able to knock out a couple of their Pokemon pretty quick, but then their Tyranitar was able to take out my Typhlosion, but thankfully I had those coughing and wheezing to back me up to finish out the prizes and win that game. Second game went a little bit different. I actually faced another Ethan's Typhlosion deck, and we went back and forth, all the way to the very end, where they were able to beat me by drawing that last prize card before me. However, the third deck was an interesting one. Probably one of the arguably best players in there, one of the most experienced players went up against me. They kind of transitioned their deck, a similar one to me, but they kind of went heavy on Team Rocket's Pokemon with wheezing and coughing, saying that pretty extensively, but they also had a Zapdos. That was kind of like a wild card. We went back and forth on it quite a bit, and ultimately I was able to end up getting it when he could not draw the key card that he needed. And that's what kind of allowed me to go 2-1. I was actually quite surprised at how well the deck worked, and I kind of wonder where can I kind of go from here. So that's what I did next. When I got home, I was able to open my packs, my prize packs, and all of that. I went in and I went ahead and added onto the deck. My Team Rocket's Pokemon, I did not change too much, kind of left it is, but I actually maxed out my Typhlosions here. I was able to kind of get them in there. Now, from this pre-release event to a full tournament, this was going from a 40 card to a 60 card deck. So you see the Sacred Ash I was able to bring in to get those Ethan's Typhlosions back. I was actually pretty surprised at how important they were actually. By Ethan's Adventure cards, I went ahead and opened up 2 more and was able to max that out because it does 60 additional damage for each one in my discard pile. put in a Brock Scouting to kind of go in and add in the ability to pull those cards I need. And now this is, I'm kind of not sure how well this deck is going to do is with all the energy I have. I know that there are some other cards and trainer cards that kind of bring in to kind of help me out, but those energy are kind of my wild card. So I wonder, can this deck compete? So that's what we're kind of going to have to explore in our next few videos. So where we're kind of going to go with this challenge, we're going to look at how to set up a person from never really playing in many years to explore all the different meta decks that we see here. This Dragapult EX deck, we're talking the Joltik Box deck, Charizard deck, Goldango. We're going to kind of take a look at all these, as well as this Ethan's Typhlosion deck that I've built once it kind of releases here on Pokemon TCG Live. We're going to go through each one of these decks as we progress through, kind of learning the ins and outs of them as it progresses on and seeing what works, what doesn't work. It's kind of the path I'm kind of curious. I know I've been playing with the Goldango a little bit, and I also was also playing with the Dragapult EX deck a fair amount. I'm really curious on some of these mechanics. I'm going to continue researching them as we move forward. So one of the decks I've been experimenting with is actually the Dragapult EX deck. After watching a few videos, I kind of saw where they combined the Dragapult EX and the Charizard EX decks. That's kind of what I did to kind of really test out my first deck that kind of plays in the meta world. So you'll see in here, this is a game I played where I went ahead and used this combination deck where it has the Charizard EX, Dragapult EX, and the Dusk Noir. Now I know some of you are probably thinking, that is way too many Pokemon. I know I'm going to kind of trim this down. I'm probably going to go ahead and drop off the Dusk Noir line because I kind of don't usually play with that one when I kind of set this up. I have them here and you'll see that they're kind of just holding place while I try to build the Dragapult and Charizard because I could not pull the Badoo. Well, let me know what you think down in the comments. Should I go ahead and keep the Dusk Noir or should I swap it out and what should I swap it out with? So as we go through this, you can kind of see not trying to stay alive as my opponent is constantly building that Enzoric and all of their Pokemon. They very quickly start to knock me out pretty quick. I can see here that they're just loading up their energy, getting ready to go, passing back to me, and every time I draw a card, I cannot pull what I need to pull. So here we went ahead and pulled a Crispin, tried to get in our Pokemon, got another Dreepy here. Do the Crispin to kind of get some of these energies in here to start building them, and that actually turned out to be a little bit of a mistake on my part, as you'll see here in a moment. You see here I'm playing Ultra Ball. I'm going to try to get the evolution here to kind of get some draw power in here because I cannot have really much to draw in. If I do that, I go ahead and draw a card. Grab out Iona to kind of Iona next turn. Try and really get a new hand to see what's kind of going to be in my best interest. And your opponent takes over, they place their stadium in. They're able to go ahead and swap out what they need to swap out. They go ahead and play Boss's Orders, and there goes my evolved Pokemon and my draw power. You'll see here that they're going to go ahead and attack, pull one of their attacks in, and knock me out with one shot. Not really the best thing. I kind of wanted how to kind of bring that Duskull back out there to kind of hold it down while I try to go ahead and get something else still in here. I go ahead and play my Earth to Vessel to try to get one of each one. I go ahead and attach it. Now that one is ready to go. I don't know. And let's see what I get. Now, and I'm able to pull that Dragapult EX along with a rare candy to go ahead and evolve. Unfortunately, I did not go ahead and get anything there, but I go ahead and use Dusclops's ability. Go ahead and drop 5 points over on it and Rushroom. See here that hit me with 170 before, and I go ahead and swing. I kind of make a little oops here. I was trying to count out my damage to kind of make it where the next round when I swing with this, I can knock out that End Rushrooms too. But I made a mistake with that damage counters, and that's not going to be possible. And as we see here, as this continues on, what happens? So they go ahead and run through their turn, doing all of their draw through their cards, get that filled up. Now they have all 3 of them out there. And it's just not looking good for me with us. And then they go ahead and get me, and I actually was a little bit surprised at how much damage they were able to do with me there. I was trying to see what it was, and don't really know what happened. So I go ahead and bring this back out again, and it is a very quick one. Buddy Poffin to get some pieces in here, Iono, and then I don't really get much of anything, and it's very quick that it's not going to work. I hope you liked this video. If you want to follow along with me on this journey as I try to get to a regional event, as I get back into playing competitively, feel free to subscribe, and if the next video is out, it should be up here in the top right corner.